to a good start here with Enactus. Let them all take it down, so we'll call up the next team to get straightened away. I do want to apologize to the teams and to Enactus. There are two microphones up here, so if you guys can split the microphones to the two sides, it's good. So without further ado, we'll bring up our next team, which is from the Harrisburg campus, so it's good to have some UP folks up here. Well, please welcome NuntAgri.
One of the largest problems that we face in the world today is food shortage. Currently, it is projected that we will have upwards of 9 billion people on Earth by the year 2050. And if we're currently wasting approximately 1/3 of the food that we produce, out of the 2.6 billion tons of food, that only leaves us with 1.7 billion tons left. Our goal is to increase our food usage efficiency from 66% up to approximately 85%. We're going to have the amount of food that is wasted. And that allows us to feed from 6.4 billion people, with approximately 1 billion people having a food shortage currently, to upwards of 8.2 billion. That is the goal, without having to increase any agricultural technology whatsoever. The reason why the efficiency is so low in a lot of countries around the world is because food is transported much like this, by foot, by bicycle, from local markets to local businesses. So, in a place like Africa, 49 million people could be fed using the food that goes to waste every year. And that is due to mostly lacking in storage, transportation, road networks, and other infrastructure. What is NuntAgri, and how are we going to fix this problem? We've created an artificial intelligence-based chatbot that allows us to create a network that connects our producers, our consumers, our distributors through a very accessible method. Everybody has some sort of communication device now, or many people have a communication device nowadays, and SMS text messaging is the easiest way for us to connect with people. It allows us to expand the amount of information we have about these extremely localized regions. We can learn more about the supply and demand in regions where there aren't massive networks set up already. And we don't have to go in and build the infrastructure. We are supplementing their current infrastructure. And on top of that, it's improving the accessibility of those local markets. Like I said, just going from one local market to a local distributor, now it's allowing them to be opened up to a much broader audience of food producers and distributors.
So NuntAgri aims to solve last mile logistics, which is getting goods to the people who need it the most. We want to channel the knowledge of the local people within these developing countries who have knowledge, who have better knowledge than any mapping service out there at the moment, to build out the delivery networks and logistic networks. Additionally, we want to be able to use this text messaging platform that we built our chatbot on to be able to reach a broader user scope, because many users in these developing countries have cell phones, but not necessarily smartphones. So instead of looking towards a mobile application immediately, we want to build on the text messaging infrastructure that is already there. And additionally, viability is already proven through our current implementation with companies that we'll discuss later. In talking about how we made this, NuntAgri is built within the Amazon Web Services Cloud, which is a highly scalable and available environment. Through a combination of with AI, a natural language processing artificial intelligence chatbot, and Node.js that processes our backend functions, we are able to output data currently to Facebook Messenger and SMS. Future implementation of NuntAgri will feature iOS and Android applications. Using big data, we are able to analyze and look at markets within local regions of developing countries and fit the scope of our product to each local region depending on services or goods that target them specifically. Additionally, we want to power pull logistics and be able to drive demand for replenishment of goods and the demand of goods.
So what does the viability of our product look like? Well, as of right now, we're implementing and testing this through Dirty Dog Hauling, which is a Pennsylvania trash hauling company. They're part of a national United Junk Removal Service, which is a national company which aims to remove junk from people's houses and put it somewhere else. Now, because they're a hauling company, they have to deal directly with customers. They have to go to their house and pick up the items. And that leads to a lot of uncertainty and variability with the times and places where these items have to be picked up. And our platform is able to compensate for that. So we reached out to this company and we presented our idea to them, and they loved it. And they've started implementing it, and we're already seeing results. We're also working with another company called Foodcycle. This is an Africa-based company that is currently building a affordable biogas-powered tricycle with 300 kilograms of refrigerated cabin space to allow local farmers and merchants to be able to transport these goods to and from markets. We told them of our idea, and they love the idea. They want to be able to give this product in the hands of those people so that they can have much more effective time transporting their goods.
Okay, so when we were doing the market research for this application, we talked to several people that have worked for nonprofits in Africa. And we realized that one of the major hurdles that's facing getting food to the appropriate places is that it's very hard to coordinate between food producers and the people that wish to buy those products. So one of the main aims of our application is to make it very easy for those different kinds of entities to meet and communicate to make the transactions that are necessary. So we'll explain how it works for sellers. It's actually very easy. If you're a seller, all you have to do is basically message our app. Basically, you tell what you want to sell, the quantity, and everything like that, and then NuntAgri waits for a buyer to be interested. A buyer can just message NuntAgri, say that they want to buy, and they can either make a specific request, or they can just browse the locally available goods. If the buyer sees something that they like, they can make an offer or outright purchase an item. Once the transaction has been set up, we find a suitable delivery person to fulfill this request. And NuntAgri will message this person and offer them the job. If they accept, then NuntAgri will walk them through the process of picking up the product, directions on how to get to where it needs to go, and then dropping it off. So when we started with this idea, what we really were aiming to do was make something that was like the Uber for food delivery. And one thing that we realized is that since we're delivering goods and not delivering people, there's some optimizations that we can make to the way that, like efficiency optimizations that we can make to the way that Uber works. One of the things that we're most excited about is the dynamic ordering of our job schedules. So each driver is assigned a queue of jobs that they're supposed to fulfill, like deliveries that they're supposed to fulfill. And this is dynamically ordered so that we can change the ordering in a way that minimizes the distance between drop-off and the next pickup location. And yeah, as new jobs come into the system, we can reorder this again, and this reduces like cost, impact on the environment, time, and of course reduces food waste.
So what kind of time frame are we looking to deploy this product? Well, As of right now, we're currently testing with Dirty Dog hauling, and we're currently taking a very low cut from them, and we're building up our logistics network and our technology as well. We aim to make more partnerships as well in the future. One way we're doing that is on May 25th, we're going to Amsterdam for the Thoughtful Food Global Summit, where we'll have the ability to interact with other nonprofits and startups that are working in these regions to be able to interact and potentially partner with them with our deployment. We're actually already working with one of them, which is Foodies. And once our network reaches a critical mass in number of users, we're planning on expanding into the local food and good market. But there's also potential for future growth here. In emerging markets, they usually have a GDP growth rate of 4.6%, real GDP growth rate. And that means that a lot of times these people who are struggling now won't be in the future. And that's a lot of opportunity as well. In fact, the Harvard Business Review states that by 2020, the number of households in Africa with discretionary income will reach 128 million people. Now, that's a lot of opportunity for companies and suppliers to sell goods. And to be able to do that, it helps to have the data and logistics to be able to do this. So we'll continue growing our network and expand to different applications and websites. And thank you. All right, 10 minutes of questions.
Did you guys look through the cost model, so how NuntAgri makes money, and then who pays for the transportation cost?
So we did come up with some costs. There are, for our costs, they're pretty minimal for the scale that we're looking for. So what happens is, it's a typical Uber model. The driver is paid based off of the distance that they have to travel, and we did some quick calculations. If we service 500,000 users concurrently, our costs would come out to be about $500 a month for server costs. This including all of the development costs that we'll have. But for users, that would mean that for NuntAgri itself, that would mean about $50,000 in revenue from that amount.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're asking like who's actually paying the delivery person? So, basically, the transaction, right now we're focused on transactions in Africa, and a lot of people are able to pay using their cell phone through a system called Pesa. So we're basically going to try to take a cut of that, the transaction between the buyer and the seller, and that will be what pays the delivery person.
So then is NuntAgri responsible for delivering the product? Who has the responsibility? Who has the ownership?
So the ownership is with specific delivery people, but we are planning on setting up a ranking system. Right now we're going to work through nonprofits and other agencies to have verified drivers, but eventually we're expecting to have a ranking system set up so that, just like Uber, you know how good of a driver, how good of a supplier these people are.
Could you just explain again the artificial intelligence component of this, and just give us a little bit more color around that?
So, I did a lot of the work with the artificial intelligence, and for the most part, what it is we have it set up so that there's many different conversations that you can have with artificial intelligence. When you first contact it, it asks you in general, what are you looking for? You're going to buy, sell, or transport. And once it figures out what you need, it knows what to ask you so that it can collect information for our databases so we can create a profile. And that's what we do. We construct a profile, and that's how we can match you up. If you're a seller, we can match you up with the correct buyer, and then the transporter gets thrown in between, or multiple transporters, so that we can chain them together to get it where it needs to go. And that's how we can get outside of these very localized markets. Rather than having one person bring it to their local market, we can have multiple transporters that know the areas, chain together and get food where it needs to go.
Can you give us a quick example of what currently is happening with the junk dog, dirty dog?
Very not wrong, yes. A couple weeks ago, I met with the CEO of the company, and I talked to them and pitched them our idea. So currently, they have haulers that they get online requests to go pick up an item at this location. And usually what they do is they have their cell phone on it, and then they get messages through a service so that they can go, they know exactly when and where to go. But the problem is it's not optimized for, at the moment, requests. Like if somebody just puts in a request, it would send an entirely different driver rather than sending the same driver that's already in that location. So NuntAgri aims to solve that, as well as integrate with their system currently. Since they're already using cell phones, they're already comfortable with the SMS tools. All we have to do is put in their phone numbers into our database, and it's plug and play at that point.
Can you comment on where the waste is and how this addresses the waste? I'm not tracking on that.
So we found statistics that approximately our food usage efficiency is only at 66%. We waste about a third. And what we're saying is by implementing this technology where we're getting as much food as possible from local markets everywhere that needs to go, we're cutting down on any waste from stuff that's left rotting in fields and from things that aren't sold in local markets. We're trying to make sure that every bit of food that gets put into our database, we're trying to distribute it as much as possible. And we thought that it was an achievable goal to cut down from 33% waste to about 15% waste.
So, yeah, I got that, but, so the assumption is that the food rots in the field. That's what you're trying to solve.
Yes, I can talk about that a little bit. So we did talk to several nonprofits about this situation, and it did turn out that because of the way people coordinate currently, the food producers and the food buyers are communicating, that it's very inefficient, and that is one of the reasons that food goes wasted. So right now, the way that's set up is basically if you're a food producer, or vice versa really, but you have to basically contact a bunch of people and just say hey, do you need this, do you need this? And you might not know everyone in the area, and also our network allows chaining of drivers, which extends our range, so you might not even know people further away that might get the product. So we don't have any statistics about that, but just in speaking to people that have actually worked in the field over there, that is one of the barriers that exists.
Okay, just to add to that point, so food lost in Africa alone, so food that was produced in Africa and let rot in Africa could have fed 49 million people, and that happens every year. So that came from Esther Nishdu, which is the director of UPS, one of the directors of UPS. She did it.
Yeah, just to add on, especially in these developing countries, the infrastructure is not there to actually, for people who are not close to any urban cities, to actually get food delivered to them. That's why we have our platform where we are able to take buyers and sellers and then chain them from people who are in urban cities and get them to people who are maybe outside on the border. And especially we want to channel the knowledge of the locals who know the area of the land, and you can't just Google Maps the address of the buyers of the food to actually get to the location. So we use the knowledge of people who are in these developing countries to actually get the food to where it needs to be at the end. Because some people are just not able to get to the urban areas, especially if it's a large track that requires a vehicle or anything to get the food they need.
Tell us more about the plans for the Amsterdam trip where you're going to the Thought for Food Summit.
Yeah, so a couple months ago, we pushed this idea to other places as well, and we were invited to go to the Thought for Food Global Summit in Amsterdam. They're one of the groups that is trying to focus on increasing our food capacity and production by the year 2050, because it's expected to have, we're expected to have 9 billion people by that year. Now, we got invited, and they're going to be bringing a bunch of people across the globe into Amsterdam so that we can discuss different ideas, different solutions, and the opportunity to network with each other and form partnerships. So we are going to be going there on May 25th, and definitely reach out. We've already reached out to one of them because of a mutual connection, but we're going to be reaching out to more as well.
And also, we're focused mostly on the logistics part of it. Obviously, we're trying to correct the logistics problem that they have, and we're meeting the people who are fixing the agricultural technology part. That's why we're talking about fruit recycle. So we're combining the two. We're fixing a part of the problem. We're kind of meeting them halfway. So not only are we trying to improve agricultural technology around the world and make it so that we can grow more food or grow it better, we are trying to make sure that what we do grow now doesn't get wasted. And that's why we're trying to talk to many of these other groups so that we can work together on this.